Okay, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ready, Aim, Retire. I am Rob Kirvan. It's the show that worries about your legacy, helps you with retirement planning, and all sorts of other things. Today, I'm obviously with Tony Shore, as usual. Tony, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Rob. Always great to be here with you. I look forward to this every week
I bet you
so
do.
we can
I
talk
bet
some
you do.
smack about football, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not talking. We already did that off air. We're not talking.
Okay.
We're going to see what
Okay.
happens this week, and then maybe we can kind of warm in.
Yes. Yeah. And plus, we have a very special guest, a
We
huge
do.
get.
That's a huge get. It's Childhood Cancer Month, and in our group, so last year at our Christmas party, we rotate charities that we work with, and I had never even heard of this charity, and that's why I want to get them on. And they came out, and the stories that Stacey has, they're amazing. But before I get into that, Stacey Wahlberg from Cal's Angels, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rob and Tony.
Yeah, thank you for getting carving some time out for us, and coming over here. And we're going to talk a lot about, the different things you guys do. And I have, I got a few rapid fire questions, but we'll just go through it. But I want to let people know that are listening, if you've never heard of Cal's Angels, once you hear the story, you're kind of hooked on Cal's Angels. Like if you come into our office, it's Childhood Cancer Month. We have the stuff everywhere. I got the shirt on. The whole team's got the shirt on today because we think it's a big deal. And it was Stacey speaking that I was sitting on the side of the stage, and literally, I'm being, hand to God. I did not know who they were up until a week before because Mike had organized it. And it was like, you hear that story, and if you're not all in, then I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what you're paying attention to out there. So it's the real deal. I want to start with, and this is kind of how I got hooked. So give us the story, Stacey, of Cal's Angels. Like, how did Cal's Angels become? Give us the story, because I think the story, it's a powerful one.
Okay, so
just to get right into it.
Yes, let's just jump right in. And, to your listeners, I'm going to give probably the best to give a little bit of a shorter version, but
Sure.
Everything, of course, is on our website. But it was founded after Cal Sutter, who's my stepson. He passed away at the age of 13 in 2006 from a form of leukemia that's actually most common in adults. So the average person doesn't realize that that's even possible, one. And two, unfortunately, I can count on probably my hand how many have lived with this particular diagnosis. It's in a very aggressive form. And like I said, an adult form in a child. So it's kind of the double whammy out of the gate.
Right.
But truthfully, his father, Tom, and I, from the get-go, always thought he was going to be one in the medical record books. Like, you can't fathom losing a child because there's something so wrong about that. That is not how life is supposed to work and the sequence of events that's supposed to happen. Losing a child is not something that's common or normal in any sense of the word. So we never believed anything but that he would survive this. And he was treated right here at what was Children's Memorial, which is now Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago. He was there for, it was close to a year. And then he actually was transferred to University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, their children's hospital, for an experimental program because we were not able to keep him into remission. And so he had 2 different stem cell transplants. And
wow.
Unfortunately, we were out of options. And, he came home. Thankfully, we were able to get him home to be able to pass away in his own room. He wanted his animals near him, and it was, I guess, as peaceful as it can be, right?
Yeah, you could, right.
But after that, his father and I think with anybody who goes through anything significant in their life, you get to a point where one day you wake up and you're at that fork in the road.
Sure.
And you can either continue down the path that you've been on of maybe some deep sorrow, hard to function, losing all that joy in your life, or you can go the other way and decide, I need to make a difference. And that is where we got to that point. And within 7 months, we gathered up our friends, families, neighbors, right in our, family room of our home at the end of March in 2007, and just said, hey, we need to make a difference. We're not sure what that looks like, but we want to get together. We need, the old saying, it takes a village. We needed our village to step up, walk alongside of us. And within 2 months, we planned a dinner golf event at the Pheasant Run, which is no longer standing. But for those of you who are local, yes, we had it there. We had 250 people show up, and we were able to clear $73,000 that day. And
Wow.
that was when, if you've ever done any kind of fundraising, it's not easy. And so to be able to clear $73,000, we're like, okay, we are on to something. And we knew this was much bigger than we had ever planned. And we said from the beginning, we wanted to do baseball scholarships. Cal was an all-star baseball player every single year that he was playing. The full name is Cal's All-Star Angel Foundation, specifically because
did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last team he played for was the Angels. So that's how the name was formed. And then through the years, if we just dropped it down to Cal's Angels because it's just so much easier to, to
Oh,
say.
that's interesting though.
Yeah.
Like
good little,
factoid.
Yes. Some knowledge most don't know.
Right.
So originally we thought we would do baseball scholarships. We were going to do like a $10,000 baseball scholarship to a boy out of South Elgin High School and St. Charles North, because those are the two schools that fed from his Little League team.
Okay.
And we did do that for several years, but quickly realizing our fundraising was going very well, that we could do much more and leave a bigger impact and footprint of what we were trying to accomplish. So we started to being a wish granter specific to leukemia and lymphoma at that point. Side note, most don't realize how many diagnoses there are a year. In Chicagoland alone, there's over 550 new cases a year of all the different cancers together.
Wow.
You kind of have them in three different groups. You've got brain, and then you've got the blood cancers, which are going to be leukemia and lymphoma, and then you have sarcomas. So for us, we needed to just narrow it down to basically like a third of the diagnosis we were able to accomplish financially at Children's Memorial. And then the new hospital was being built and so on and so forth. And we were like, okay, fundraising was going fantastic. So fast forward to today, we are in every Chicagoland hospital, including the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. We grant a family wish now, different from where we started. Now we include the siblings, because the siblings are absolutely the forgotten ones, which is really heartbreaking for us because we learned firsthand. We saw that when Cal's brother said one day at 10 years old, how do I sign up for this cancer thing?
Right.
We knew how much, because
all the energy is going in one direction, obviously.
100%.
So then
as
you
it
forget
should.
about that.
Right. As it should.
Mhm.
However, nobody's taught, you're not handed a playbook when your child's diagnosed with cancer, right? You're all in, you're consumed. You're just trying to do the best you can. And unfortunately, things fall on the wayside. And that's typically your other children. They're pushed to grandparents or neighbors or whoever it is, just so you can focus on.
Because you need all hands on deck, right?
Right. Rightfully so. So we saw that firsthand. And, I knew that was a dream of mine personally, of once we got to a level of fundraising where we could afford that. So now we do a $3,000 wish. So basically it's a max of 3,000. So it's like $1,000 per child, a max of 3,000. So what
cool ones have you done?
Well, this is a little bit newer for us. So it tends to be more, electronics are huge. So I want you guys both, Tony and Rob, think about this for a minute. If you can close your eyes for a second. And Rob, I know you have 3 children. Can you imagine, one of your children getting a MacBook because they have been diagnosed with, cancer, and your other 2 children are standing there like, well, what about me?
Sure.
And they're just as important.
Right.
And at Cal's Angels, we recognize that we do not want anybody forgotten. So now we are able to do that with all the wishes, is that all the children in the family up to $3,000, receive something. So sure, they've done, we've done some mini vacations. We're able to send people to Disney, whether we're paying for their tickets or their flight. Unfortunately, we're not there yet to pay for that whole trip.
Right.
But, some excursions around, Wisconsin, Michigan, fun stuff like that. A lot of stuff of, let's go in the limo and go down and do a play and do a shopping spree. And then again, the kids, everybody's included, which is so important to build that, memory. But so anyway, that was important for us at Cal. So we grant wishes, we raise awareness, and we fund research. So that's part of our WISH program that has been with us from the beginning.
Okay.
And then 7 years ago, we started awareness, which is what you're wearing, Rob. Thank you so much. You're wearing our awareness shirt, which we change every September.
Okay.
Yes. So it goes without saying, some of the other colored ribbons are very prominent. And it all started with awareness.
Right.
And awareness for us at CALS is about educating. It's about advocating. It's about being that ambassador out there on the street, right?
Mhm.
It's about talking about it. Like you said, you didn't know anything about CALS. I'm guessing you didn't know much about pediatric cancer
No.
until I came. And then it's like, wow, like it is everywhere.
Right.
Like people need to like take the blindfold off. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we need to talk about it. Because
100%.
what's happening is our government is only giving 4% of the funding that goes towards research is for children. So if you can fathom 4 pennies on every dollar is
Right.
for our kids. And
so the other 96 cents goes towards adult cancers?
yes.
Oh, wow.
So I mean,
Wow.
I find that super confusing. These are our future.
Yeah.
This is our future leaders. These are our children.
Right.
There's not enough money in the world, right, that we can use to save
Right.
them.
Huh.
So I do want to correct, like maybe we should go back and say, I can't confirm that 96% are going to adult cancers. They
Right.
could be going to other things.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
but 4% of the funding that the government gives towards research
Going to childhood cancer.
is children. And
Wow.
that's extremely, extremely low, grossly underfunded. Anything with research starts with a clinical trial. A clinical trial from start to end to get to, FDA approval is over $80 million just for one drug. And I mean, we're not there yet at CALS, right? We're not going to stop, but we're not there. And it's, again, it takes that conversation like we're having today to
Sure.
educate people. And your listeners, I have to believe majority of them have grandchildren or
Right.
or are going to have grandchildren. And it starts with a conversation. It starts with educating and talking about it and not being afraid to talk about it.
And even, sorry to cut you up, but even
okay.
they had children at one point. Then now maybe they have grandchildren now, but this is out there. So you everybody must know somebody in the neighborhood, somebody down the street, whether it's touched you personally, like right down the street from me is it was Holden.
Mhm.
And I remember that little boy, and he was just a young boy when he passed away, and and those signs are up and down the street, so everybody knows something like that. And
Yeah.
with you, especially coming to our Christmas party and raising that awareness for us, it's just like, oh my gosh, like I never realized the stats you're spitting out right now. I heard them before, and I never realized that. It's mind-boggling to me that 4% could go to children, and the rest
Yeah.
to wherever it's going is
Yeah.
shocking. You know?
Yeah, it seems like there was a real need, and you're trying to do what you can to help fill that need. Those stats are shocking. I know this is perfect timing, and probably one reason why Rob had you on the show today, but September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, right?
That is correct. And, I was thinking about this morning about our visit today, and I often lose sight of this, and I think I need to share it more often because it's going to really resonate with the two of you. We went through treatment for 14 months. Never once were we told September's Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. We went through a September. Okay.
Right.
That's
Oh,
number
wow.
one. No, never. And number two, gold is the color of the ribbon. We were never taught that. It was our very first wish recipient. Paige Stibgen is her name. Unfortunately, she was identical to Cal. She also did not make it, and she passed away in 2008. Oh, wait, 2007, excuse me. I might have that wrong. No, I think it was 2007. But anyway, that was her wish. The gold ribbon needed to be out there as prominent as the others. That was her wish. And it's truly because of her mom that pushed us to start the awareness piece. And I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked, but so for us, the awareness piece it's not only the shirts. We'll have 25,000 shirts sold.
Oh, wow.
In the month of September, which is fantastic because that's what it's about, getting it out there, right? When you're out walking around town on a different day come December, people will see it and they'll make it aware, right? We got to keep it going.
Right, get it out there for sure.
Yes, keep it going. And then, but where we started was back 7 years ago, we had 8 high schools join alongside us to raise awareness. And what that looks like is CALS Angels comes in and we give all their extracurricular activities for September or their fall sports, something that recognizes the gold. So football, volleyball, soccer, they wear gold socks. Drill team, gold palms, swim team, gold swim cap. So I'm super excited to say this year we have 69.
69 schools?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Really
So
Wow.
It's happening, right? It's happening. It takes time, but it's happening. And then what happens is we ask in return a Friday Night Lights game. They sell the shirts the week, leading up to it.
Yep.
And these students these days are over the top with spirit and come, and all their gold that they can come with, right? We've even seen gold morph suits. I mean, we've seen it all,
sure.
which is incredible.
Right.
And the stands are just flooded with gold. And the
Oh.
football players have the gold socks on, and the drill team have the gold, palms. And
Wow.
it's so much fun, and they're so passionate about it. And I truly believe it's these kids today that are going to make that difference. They are
Right.
going to be the ones to get that gold ribbon as prominent as the next.
Right.
Because
And it kind of
should
starts
be.
with them. Like
Of
if you're getting
course.
these high school kids, that were probably never aware of this, obviously, before.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden they go to the football game, they're wearing their shirts or whatever they happen to be wearing, and they know what it's all about. Then the next September comes and they're like, oh yeah, we're doing it again. Remember in high school, we did those 4 years of and that's kind of the build you're kind of going for, right?
Absolutely. And to carry it on, right? To get
Yeah.
it to the college and all the other professional
Right.
athletes that do it. For others, like we need to make it just as prominent, because there's a saying, children are worth more than gold.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that we can all agree on that.
Yeah, 100%. Right.
We might not all agree right now in the way the world is.
Mm.
We can all agree on that.
Right.
Our children are worth more than gold. And so that's what it looks like for us. We also have businesses. Rob, your business looks fabulous. Thank you so much.
We got it all. Done up with Cal's Angels, and we got everything when you come in, and people know that, and we talk about it, because I think it is important, and the more people talking about it, even though we may only be one, but then 1 + 1 is 2, and 2 + 2 is 4, and it doesn't
Mhm.
take long. All of a sudden, going from 16 schools to 69 schools is you get that snowball effect.
Yes.
And I saw this weekend, I was in St. Charles, Tony, at the St. Charles Jazz Fest.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't on my dance card, but Natalie said we're going to St. Charles the St. Charles Jazz Fest. So that's where we ended up, so we went there. Down the streets in St. Charles is all these Cal's Angels banners on all the light posts. And it just looked amazing. Like, it was so
That's
cool.
very
We're
cool.
walking around, we're like, oh my gosh, like, Stacey's coming in this week. They like, this is so cool.
And
Like,
that's where you're based, right? Cal's Angels is the main office is in St. Charles.
We are based in St. Charles. Yes, we are. But I do want to recognize that we have over, I don't even know what the last count was. I think it's around 175 businesses that went gold for us this September. I mean, many of your listeners are going to be familiar with Apt Electronics. To give a shout out to them.
yes.
They have a 15-foot gold ribbon that faces Milwaukee Avenue and 294. They changed their indoor. Why am I drawing a blank on
Their showroom
the water? Water
fountain.
Thank you.
Okay, fountain.
They changed their fountain to gold.
Oh,
I mean,
no kidding.
Wow.
They're all in. They're
Oh,
all
wow.
in, along with a host of other businesses. We have 47 local Culvers that will be doing a give back day next week. All for Cal's, specific to, raising awareness. So it's amazing. These businesses go all in, and not to keep going back to Rob, but it's super simple. He's got the gold ribbon on his door. He's got different flyers laying around the office, educating with the different facts. You're wearing the shirts. So businesses do that. And then we have restaurants like with the little napkin ring. So when you take you undo your napkin for your silverware, it's like on the ring. I mean, the ideas are endless. Coasters. Again, it's all about educating,
Right?
Because people don't know.
That's it. Like, even me living in Naperville for 14 years, been to St. Charles, been to the Jazz Fest, but probably never, if they were there before, I probably never noticed them
Mhm.
because I wasn't aware. And once you become aware, it's like if you buy a red car, everyone else has the same red car all of a sudden. And you're just like, oh my gosh, they got the same red car as I got. And you never noticed that before. But once you notice it,
Right.
once you're made aware, all of a sudden you start seeing, like,
It's everywhere.
the banners. You start seeing all these, and you're on Instagram or Facebook, and all of a sudden you see these posts. And I've seen, like, the high school sports, I've seen the Friday Night Lights ones, and I've seen those different posts, and then it starts, walking in our office, we got some pamphlets, we got things, we talk about it, and then you're going to Culver's. Oh wait, Culver's has that. Then it starts getting in your mind, and it's like anything else. And everything is important, and all these causes are important, but this is a very localized, cause where, we know what's happening, we know where the money's going, we know where things are going. And I think it's super important,
It is. And I do want to just piggyback off of the awareness piece. It's super important to understand awareness is not about Cal's Angels. It's about pediatric cancer.
Right.
For us, this is not worrying about what we're going to raise necessarily in awareness piece of it. It is about educating and having people advocate for pediatric cancer. And for us, that is what, there is no money
Right.
big enough that would even, it just doesn't matter. We need people to talk about it, to share the story. And, bonus if Cal's Angels comes out of your mouth at the same time. But it
Right.
is about these kids and we need to do better. And then I'm going to give you another stat that's going to really blow your mind.
Okay.
Rob and Tony.
I'm ready.
Yep. So this is really actually pretty pathetic and sad as well. We have less than 20 drugs available for our children. Think about that for a minute. We have less than 20 drugs available, chemo drugs.
Okay.
Most diagnoses truly only use about anywhere from 4 to 8, depending on the diagnosis. If the child relapses, those are off the table. They didn't work.
Right.
You're already using the big guns out of the 20. You see where
Yeah.
we're
Now,
going
what would
with
that
this?
compare to give me an idea, like with an adult? Like would they have
I-
100? Would they have like
Yes, they have hundreds.
Oh yeah.
I can't quote. I really
Right. Oh,
don't
wow.
educate myself enough on that
Right.
piece, but I can assure you
It's a lot more.
Oh gosh, there's been like 4 new drugs in the last close to 40, 50 years that have been approved for children. And there's, probably 100 in the last 20 years for adults.
So that's where the research comes in, right?
Yes. And truthfully, anything that you have childhood, pediatric, anything that has that stamped on the label requires more funding. It all comes down to money.
Right.
It's more resources to get that pushed through with the FDA, and nobody wants to touch it because everybody's talking about, how quickly can we get things done, right? It's just stamp and move. And children require more. The resources are not there.
Right.
But I am confident that it will change. And so I'm going to lead into, if I may, about the research arm that CALS is behind. So it was very, very important for us, when I say us, myself and our board of directors, that when we decided to do research, it was not about the black hole. Everybody's familiar with the black hole with research. It's just undocumented dollars.
Sure.
And I got to be able to look at you, Rob. I got to be able to look at you, Tony, that this is what we've done with your donation. I need to know that we are,
exactly.
I am the steward of your money as you are with your clients. You have to be able to look them in the eye and tell them good news of where it's headed. Right.
Right.
So for us, the black hole was never an option. That is basic research. We are not going there. What we do believe in is clinical trials. Within a clinical trial is you have a budget, you have timelines, you have a business plan, and then you also have accountability,
Right.
which is super important. So depending on the clinical trial, we request whether it be quarterly reports, whether we request biannually, annually. They're all different depending on the trial and how fast it's moving. And then we get to decide if they're going to get their next payment. And I will tell you, I have held payments because things don't move quick enough. Research does not move quick enough at all. It's again, it's so slow. But so currently this is another head scratcher. The Big 10 Cancer Research Consortium. Everybody's familiar with the Big 10. I've lost track. Is it the Big 18 now?
It seems like it's the Big 18 or 20 at this point.
Yes, I'm not quite sure, but thankfully, some of the best institutions in the United States to have all in the Big 10 as far as the medical community. And the Big 10 Cancer Research Consortium only does clinical trials and research on adults. So it took several years. That's not their community, right?
Right.
Their community is what is known as the AYA community. That is the adolescent young adult community. That's their age group. So it took several years, but we were able to knock down that wall. Very, very happy to say about 2 years ago. And we are now their partner. We are the only pediatric partner.
That they're doing research?
Yes, alongside. Cool. Yes. So that's super exciting. So we've got that going in the hopper.
Right.
We also did a $1 million commitment with Lurie Children's Hospital in connection with Northwestern. We paid for a robot. It was a $700,000 out of the $1 million. And this robot works 24/7, 365. And its sole purpose is to find new drug concoctions that work on children. So we have over currently 1,500 mice. What happens is when your child is diagnosed, you have to give, of course, all kinds of samples. So whether it's blood or tumor related, the tissue. then you can sign off if you can give it to research, which majority of the parents do,
Sure.
if not all of them, right?
Right,
I really
right.
don't know that statistic, but
Yeah.
I have to believe that it's
It's a big
several,
number,
a
right.
very, very large number. And so right here in our own backyard, then what happens is then it's injected into a mouse, same location of where this particular tumor was on that child. And then we hope that the mouse shows signs of progression. And then this robot is busy putting together different concoctions of a library of 17,000 drugs that we paid for.
Right.
And so that shows
Like
you how
just
many
doing
drugs are
different
out there.
combinations.
Correct.
Oh, very cool.
And then if they think they've got something, then they inject it into the mouse. And we were super excited to find out over a year and a half ago, we did see some movement in osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer, and horrifying for anyone, really horrifying for a child.
Right.
And so we're super excited about that. So it's showing some great results. And also we got word in the last 6 months that it's showing some great results on some of the different brain cancers.
Oh,
So
wow. That's huge.
that's
Yeah.
huge. And it's right in our backyard, right? So that's
Wow.
where some of the dollars went. And then we have a $500,000 commitment with University of Michigan Mott's Children's Hospital for high-risk neuroblastoma. And we have a $125,000 commitment with University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital for Ewing sarcoma. And then we are also in partnership with another local organization, Violet's Foundation, for a total of $600,000 with Chad Tuff, which is specific to DIPG. It's a form of cancer that unfortunately 100% of the children pass away within
wow.
6 to 12 months typically.
Oh my
And so we have a $600,000 commitment with them as well. And I can't release anything right now, but we are hopefully making a really large announcement soon. So please
Oh,
follow
good.
along. But
Oh, wow.
so point being, we've got this, I think, a very robust WISH program now.
Yeah.
Our awareness is just kicking butt.
Big time.
And the research. So
Yeah.
we're trying to touch it all. We like to think of ourselves as a triple threat.
Yeah.
If you can't get behind one, hopefully you can get behind the other. And you can. The great thing is if you wanted to become a donor, you can designate which bucket you would like to put it into.
Oh, no kidding.
Mhm,
Oh, interesting.
absolutely.
Now, before I get into that, because I'm going to give you a moment to get all your information, the website, because we want people to donate. But before we do that, I was at your gala last year. So Tony, so you've been to our Christmas parties. So there's a lot of people there, 350 people. So we went to, the Cal's Angels Gala, or I'm not sure is there a specific name for it?
The Got Hope Gala.
Okay. Oh, Got Hope Gala, even better. And it was held out in Oak Brook. Where was it at?
Drury Lane.
Drury Lane. So you walked in. So the first thing you see, Tony, is there's this woman like with this dress that's as big as you could think, and it's filled with champagne.
It's not me, Tony.
No, it's not Stacey, it's somebody else. But this thing is first class, off the charts. And there had to be, there had to be 1,000 people. 1,000 people there?
Close to it, yes.
Okay. And
Wow.
well run, put together. And I've been to a lot of different charity gals. This thing was top notch. And I got to think, like, how much did you raise in that one night I was there?
Thank you. That particular evening, we were 1.265.
Yeah, 1.2
Wow.
million, Tony. Like
Wow.
it was incredible. Like a lot of custom prizes that you could bid on. Nat and I got like a stay out in Wyoming. We haven't gone there yet, but somewhere out in Wyoming where we can go fly fishing and stuff.
Nice.
But so many unique things. And what I wanted the reason I bring that up is tell us about like not only that, but all the other stuff that you do, because you have different events and different things that people can get involved with. They might be a gala people, they might be a golf person.
Yes.
Like what do you have going on, like on an annual basis or coming up even?
Okay.
Happy put you on the spot.
No problem at all. One thing I want to say before I begin is what makes Cal's different, and I think what you recognized that evening when you said it was different from others.
Yeah.
It is people like you and I. We are everyday, hardworking people trying to make a difference. If there's anything that I'm most proud of at Cal's, it's the relationships that we build. We build them with our donors, our volunteers, our families. They're friends for life.
Right.
It came out of a tragedy. Like we would do anything to have Cal back, but then I wouldn't be sitting here with you. Life is very interesting. Right.
Sure.
We don't get to make these calls, right? But we have to do the best that we can with what we're given. I am so thankful of our donors. We are not big on corporate. only because we just haven't been able to knock that down. I wish we were, right?
Right.
The
Sure, for
dollars
sure.
would be even larger, but
Mhm.
it is everyday people digging in their pocketbook. It's no different than your Christmas party.
Mm.
Everyday people coming to make a difference. So I want to start with that
Okay,
because
for
I
sure.
think that is
I
so
do too.
important.
Mm.
It's just individuals I'm so thankful to be surrounded by, just good people.
And that
But
money that night, that was just individuals.
you
Like, it was
got it.
everybody sitting there. Like, it was literally, and then some people could they go online if they weren't there? Were you able? No, you had to be
No.
sitting there.
That is something we do differently as well because we want you there. We want you to
Sure.
hear the message,
Right.
right? Because it's not about
Robbie Gold was there, by the way, Tony.
Really?
Yeah.
He's
Nice.
Hells Angels ambassador, and he's awesome.
Wow.
And we also have Fred from Kiss FM.
Yeah, Fred was there.
He might
Oh,
be
that's cool.
yeah, he might be the largest in the nation as far as Kiss FM goes, but he's fabulous. But again, just everyday people
Right.
want to make a difference. So I'll start with the calendar.
Okay.
The calendar year starts with now we are one of the chosen charities for the Chicago Auto Show, the First Look for Charity, which if you're not familiar with it, it's black tie. It's the night before the auto show
Oh,
opens.
okay. No.
Very exclusive, only a certain amount of tickets sold kind of thing. And it's fabulous. If you've never gone, absolutely you want to go. But they do a really neat job of they choose 18 charities and you get to choose when you buy your ticket which bucket you want to put it into. And we are surrounded by some really fabulous charities. So to be selected in that, last year was our first year. We were really, really, really
Yeah,
excited.
that's so cool. Yeah,
yes,
big time.
Yes. So we start the year with that. That's coming up. Don't quote me. I think it's February 7th next year. Yes, it is. Now that I'm doing the math in my head. February 7th is that event. And then our gala is always the last Saturday in February. So next year it's February 22nd of 25 at Drury Lane. And we are at max capacity. So if you have any interest, watch for the website and whatnot that, when tickets are on sale because we do sell out.
Right.
And then that leads us into April is when we have our Just Shave It event. Now, I'm not sure, Natalie, how she would feel if you ever shaved Rob.
Oh.
Tony, you look like you got a nice head there too, hair. So if you wanted to come in town and
shave her off,
shave your head,
okay,
and you don't have to go bald. Like you could start growing this. What is it? No Shave November. Just keep it rolling into April.
Unfortunately, me, Stacey, this is
same.
I got this.
No facial hair.
I actually wish I was one of those guys that could have that beauty.
Yeah, me too. I can't do it.
Life. I get the Shaggy Do stuff like right here. That's about it. It's about as good as it goes.
Yeah.
So I'd be useless in that one, but I do have I got the top,
So we have that in April. We do a Just Shave It event is what it's called. And then that leads us into our golf event, which is in August. And we've had it at the Elgin Country Club now for several years in a row. If you're not familiar, Elgin Country Club is beautiful.
It is really nice.
Exclusive course and private. So another event, thankfully also sells out. And then that leads into September, which we are in right now. And we are in full steam, making sure it's the best pediatric cancer awareness month ever. And we end it with our glow walk. So our glow walk is at the King County Cougar Stadium.
Okay.
Family, wonderful family evening. We've got different characters walking around. We've got the ponies and different animals, petting zoo that comes. We've got bouncy houses, we got face paint, and we've got beer.
Oh,
so
okay,
we cover
Parents
it
are
all.
happy, kids
all
are
your
happy.
favorites, Rob. You just mentioned Rob's favorite things: the
Like,
bouncy hut, the face paint, and the beer. I think check, and check for Rob.
Amen. And guess what? And then you can also enjoy a beautiful barbecue sandwich from Firewater. They are our
Firewater,
partner.
great.
Yes, Firewater
Nice.
is fabulous. So
and when is that?
That's September 28th. It is
September 28th.
always the last Saturday in September.
Okay.
It's kind of I don't want to use the word celebrate. We were talking about this the other day at the office. It's not a celebration because we're not celebrating pediatric cancer, right? But it is a bit of a, come together. We just kicked the butt of awareness in September. It's majority, like I said, families, several families that we've served, get teams together, and we do walk, they come in with their different glow gear.
Okay, cool.
And we do walk. It's about a mile, through the parking lot and whatnot. And then when they come back into the stadium, we have a beautiful fireworks show.
Oh,
so
nice.
We honor, the living, the past, and unfortunately the ones who are undiagnosed. Correct. Because it does happen. So that is coming up here in a week. We'll have that. And then that leads us into October. is our Courage Ride for pediatric cancer. That is our bike ride. If you follow us at all, this year we have 22 bike riders, and they are going to ride over a century 4 days in a row. Well, actually 1 day off in between. But if you're a cyclist, you know that a century ride is a lot.
It sounds like a lot.
It is a lot.
Driving 100 miles seems like a lot to me. But
So they're biking.
right.
The first day, they're going to leave from Lurie Children's to St. Joseph, Michigan, which will be 110 miles on the bike.
Okay.
And then the next day, they're going from St. Joseph to Muskegon, another over 100 miles. And then we're going to take the car ferry over to Milwaukee, and that's their day off.
Oh, okay.
And then they're riding from Milwaukee to Edgerton, which, for those of you who don't
Where's
know, Edgerton, you need to find this out, Rob.
Yeah,
this is important. Edgerton is the home of the world's largest Culver's.
Oh,
Culver's,
yes.
Culver's is our presenting sponsor
Yeah.
for the ride.
Yeah.
So we will be there on Wednesday night. That will be there rolling into Edgerton, and then Edgerton to St. Charles the next day. So every day is over 100 miles. So it's a 5-day that they're actually gone,
Right.
but 4 days of riding over a century, which
Super
is
cool.
unheard of. But what's specific to this ride is we restrict the money raised for research. So it does become restricted funds that we raise through the bike ride is specific to research. That's why we call it the Courage Ride, which Cure, C-U-R-E, is all in capitals, and then A-G-E.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
The Courage Ride. I like
Got it. Kind of fun.
The
Kind of fun.
Courage Ride. I love it.
And then that's how we end our year. Now we have several one-off different things that we become, the third party beneficiary for, that it means other people are running the fundraiser for us.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you just heard about this phenomenal yoga retreat that was up in Sister Lakes.
Oh, I did hear about. I saw it on Facebook too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was just a couple ladies who had an idea, and they turned around and raised $10,000.
I was gonna say, like when I saw what they raised, I'm like, wait, a bunch of girls
at a yoga retreat. That's pretty impressive.
Yes,
yeah, like Dave, that was impressive.
Yes,
like,
maybe
Flavia's really good at stuff like that.
If you haven't met Flavia, she's someone you want in your back pocket.
You do. She's really, like, when she gets behind it, like, my goodness, like,
it's all in.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah,
she
really
is the queen of awareness.
Yes, she certainly is.
She is, and we are very lucky to have her.
Yeah.
And
she's related to Mike, right? Mike Moylan, your old buddy.
Yeah.
She is Mike's better half. Let's be clear.
That's
Come
right.
on.
That's
right.
And
that's there's nobody you would walk and say that. There's nobody who would pick Mike as the better half.
Right.
Sorry, yeah. If Mike's probably not going to listen, so it'll be fine.
No.
It's Flavia all the way. She's the organizer.
She runs the show.
Yeah. She's great.
She's phenomenal. So it was just an idea, and it goes back to what this whole conversation is about, right? It was just an idea, and she made it happen. She followed through, and $10,000 is a very large amount of money that can make a difference.
Especially yoga. I mean, I just like namaste. And then you raise $10,000 doing that.
We want to see you do the scorpion now.
You should go.
You know what? I'm not going to do that,
Tony. And if we film that, I think we can actually raise more money.
The story most people don't realize that Rob and I met at a yoga retreat.
Oh my goodness!
No,
is that from that movie? I can't.
That's not true. Can you imagine? That is not true. But
boom.
So before we wrap up, what I want you to do is give the listeners where they can contact you, how do they find out about these great events, where they can donate, give us all that information so they can have that.
Would love to.
Yeah.
So of course we're on all the social channels. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of those, please give us a follow.
Okay.
And we do post regularly. You can also sign up for our newsletters, which come out, or emails, shall I say. Those are a little bit more on the monthly status. So if you don't like to,
and you sign up where on your website?
Yes, you can go to the website, and on our website you will have our whole list of events, and you can go to calsangels.org. So it's CALS and then the word angels, not to be confused with angles.
Okay.
Angels.org. And that's where you'll find all the information that we just spoke about.
Okay. Yeah. And I went on there. There's a lot of great information. So
it's a great website. It really explains everything. calsangels.org.
Yes.
Perfect. Go out there, folks. Get on that. You've heard a lot of good things today. And if we had more time, I'm sure we could talk for another, 30, 40 minutes. But definitely follow through with this, guys, because like Stacey said in the beginning, it starts with awareness. You know, that's why we brought it to one of our big events, and the awareness it spreads, you know, so, you know, your neighbor knows, this person knows, and there's nobody listening that doesn't know somebody or somebody in the neighborhood that their child had to go through this, you know, and that's why, you know, foundations like this, you know, exist. And I think I've never brought one on my show before, so that's got to mean something to everybody, because I don't do that, you know, and I believe in this, and I think it's a very, very good, good organization. So go to calsangels.org. Stacey Wahlberg, I want to say thank you very much for carving some time out to come on in and sit with me and Tony. Tony, thank you as usual for just being there, you know, just being you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Stacey, great to meet you. What a wonderful organization.
Thank you so much, Rob and Tony. It was a pleasure to meet you as well, Tony. But more than anything, I appreciate the opportunity to spread the mission.
Excellent.
All right. Well, that does it, folks, for another episode of Ready, Aim, Retire. Have a great week.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.